Hi, today I'm going to be talking about this rather simple and rather straightforward realistic 4-channel stereo microphone mixer. Now many of you may recall back in the day Radio Shack sold a line of mixers, and it started at the very bottom with this model, the very basic 4-channel model, and it gradually worked its way up. And I believe there were at least 3 or 4 different mixers that Radio Shack sold. And of course, the bigger they got, the more expensive they got. And again, this was the smallest mixer that they had. And I actually bought this brand new back in, it was either 1988 or 1989. And if I recall correctly, I think brand new this thing was $30. And again, this was back in 88 or 89. And I believe it was on sale, and I think I actually bought it for $20 back in the day. As you can see, we've got our sliders here. We have 4 sliders, and they all still work very smoothly, very fluidly. We have a mode button over here. We can switch from stereo back to mono, and we have our power button here, and we have a battery check light. And the battery check button is on the back, and I'll give you a better view of the back in a moment. And I used to love using this thing. I used this thing on dozens and dozens of mixtapes. I really thought it was kind of cool when I could fade in one song as the previous song was fading out, to give it that sort of really professional radio DJ quality. Well, I thought it was pretty cool back in the day. But this simple little device enabled me to do that. And when I would make these cassette mixes, of course, I would run it in stereo. So I'd have the left and right here for channel 1 and channel 2. That would be one tape deck. And the left and right here, channel 3, channel 4, that would be a second tape deck. And I would basically fade between tape deck 1 and tape deck 2. Just like that. And that's pretty much the main way that I use this mixer. I used it in a lot of other different ways. Back in the 90s, for a time, I ran my own little DJ business. I would DJ weddings and other functions like that. And I remember using this mixer for different purposes like that. And it always worked very well. It was always very reliable. You know, the noise level was pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but for the price point, it wasn't really that bad. So it always worked very well for me. Now I'll give you a more detailed view of the back of the mixer. So here we have a look at the back panel of this realistic mixer. Starting over here on the left, here's the battery test button. We have our left and right output, 1/4-inch jack outputs, and then we have the different line ins. So we have line 4 in, and you could use either RCA or the 1/4-inch jack, and it's the same for all the different channels. So line 3, line 2, line 1, you have the option of using RCA or 1/4-inch. And then finally over here we have a little screw for the ground. And that's basically, again, a very, very simple, very straightforward mixer. Very bare bones, but back at the time, that's really all I needed and that's all I wanted, and it worked very well for me for many, many years. And just to show you on the bottom, so just to show you here on the bottom, there was a little door, a little metal panel door here that shut with a screw, and we had a standard 9-volt connection to power the mixer. And you could use the 9-volt battery, or I had a 9-volt adapter that I would use. And we have a little label here on the back giving sort of the power requirements and the different specs on this mixer. And we can see that the power requirements were 9-volt DC, as I mentioned. And what's really funny is up here you have a diagram, and it shows little microphones for the inputs, but it also shows reel-to-reel decks to be plugged into the RCA jacks, which is kind of funny by today's standards. But anyway, that's a look at the smallest and the simplest mixer that Radio Shack sold. Again, I would hesitate to call this a classic, but it certainly worked well, and for what I paid for it, I got years and years of use out of it, and it never let me down. So hopefully I hope to do more videos in the future where I talk about other mixers that Radio Shack sold. Thank you for watching. Hope you can join us again next time. Please, as always, subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every week, and the best way to stay on top of all the latest videos is to subscribe. If you subscribe, it won't cost you anything. There's no obligation on your part, but it will definitely help my channel grow. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
I hear voices. I hear voices. I saw this in a dream. I saw this in a dream.